What's good, YouTubers and YouTubettes? This is JB Sports, back again with another one. That's that old school Public Enemy #1 for all my old school hip hop listeners out there. Y'all know about that. All you new school listeners, y'all don't know nothing about that, man. Public Enemy #1. Public Enemy, one of the greatest hip hop groups of all times. Yeah, they should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I don't know if they're there, but they damn sure should be in the Chuck D and Flavor Flav. Let's talk a little boxing, man. Let's talk a little boxing. Let's talk about what's going on in the boxing rumor mill. What I'm hearing through the grapevine about some potential matchups, some proposed matchups. Now, various reports came out yesterday that pound for pound king in cash cow boxing, Canelo, let me say his name right, Saul Canelo Alvarez is inching closer to a deal with Caleb Sweet Hands Plants from Cashville, Tennessee. The venue I'm hearing that the fight's gonna take place in is T-Mobile Arena, September 18th. Now, a lot of people speculating that he was going to be fighting on September 11th. I did a video not too long ago that wasn't going to be the date. It was going to be September 18th because Oscar De La Hoya was fighting on September 11th on Triller Night. Yeah, he's fighting an MMA fighter named Victor Belfast or something like that. I can't even remember his last name, but he's an MMA fighter. You know, I don't even remember him, so I don't think he was one of the top fighters in MMA because I would have known him. I'm not a guy that's got a deep knowledge in the MMA, but I know the top names in the MMA that's been the top names in the last 10 years. Ronda Rousey, people like that. I know these guys. Conor McGregor, you know, people like that, man. I know them. Rampage Jackson, was there back in the day. You know, so the guy Victor must have not been one of the top fighters in there. Not to say he wasn't a good fighter, but he wasn't a ticket seller. He wasn't the guy that was one of the biggest names in the UFC. But that fight's going to take place September 11th. Therefore, Canelo Alvarez is going to fight a week later, September 18th. Now, from what I'm hearing, I got some undercard information about Canelo-Plant. I'm hearing that Dillian Whyte, who's been #1 contender for the WBC for 479 days, according to Eddie Hearn and the fans of Dillian Whyte, specifically in the UK. Now, Dillian Whyte been doing some good numbers in the UK. I got to give him credit, man. I give credit where credit's due. He's done a couple of pay-per-views, maybe 3 or 4 pay-per-views to be exact, and he's done good numbers in the UK. But the problem with him over here in the United States is nobody knows who the hell he is. Don't know him. So Eddie Hearn is doing a good thing and is trying to get him on the card of Canelo Alvarez versus Canelo-Plant. I'm hearing that he could even be the co-main event to Alvarez versus Plant. If he's able to get on that card, that's going to be some good publicity he can get in the United States. Fighting a American fighter, Jermaine Franklin, who's undefeated but hasn't fought nobody, but that's still a American fighter, so he's got a little cachet. You know, he has some people that's follow his career. You know, it's a young career at that, but a guy that's basically getting his feet wet in the sport of boxing. You know, he's been around for probably less than 5 years, Jermaine Franklin, but he's undefeated. Ain't fought none of the top guys in boxing. He ain't even fought guys that I consider 3rd, 4th tier heavyweights. So this will be a big step up for Jermaine Franklin fighting Dillian Whyte, who's been in there with some top names in boxing. You know, he's fought AJ, Anthony Joshua. He's fought Alexander Povetkin twice. He's fought Joseph Parker. So he's fought some decent guys. Now, I told you in several videos that the heavyweight division is 3 deep. So, you know, he's not fought the upper echelon in the heavyweight division because there's only 3 guys. He's fought one of the 3 guys and got knocked out brutally. And that was before AJ became the heavyweight champion. But he's been in there with some good names, and this definitely would be a step up in competition for Jermaine Franklin. But again, I'm hearing that fight could possibly be the co-main event to Canelo Alvarez versus Caleb Sweet Hand Plants for undisputed in the super middleweight division. Now, some other things that I'm hearing are involving Garrett Russell Jr., aka Mr. Garrett Russell. I'm hearing that he could be the co-main event to David Benavidez versus Jose Ukutaki. That fight's going to take place August 28th. It's going down in home of the Western Conference champion Phoenix Suns. And I'm hearing that could be the co-main event for that fight. He'll be fighting Ray Vargas, who is his mandatory for the WBC super featherweight title. That's 126 pounds. You know, him and Ray Vargas pretty much have known for the last 3 or 4 months that they're going to be fighting each other, but they just been trying to find a venue and a date for that fight. You know, it was rumored that the fight could land on Fox, but Fox has downgraded. They're not going to be putting on any fights involving guys with established names fighting each other. Now, you might see up-and-coming fighters fighting on Fox, or you might see an established fighter fighting a C-level fighter in a low-risk type of matchup. But you're not going to see a Keith Thurman versus Sean Porter on Fox anymore. You're not going to see a Jamel Charlo versus Tony Harrison no more on Fox. You're not going to see that. They've downgraded. So those type of fights are going to go to pay-per-view in one form or fashion. Now, that's why I'm hearing that, or go to Showtime. Showtime is going to be picking up a lot of those fights. They're going to be showing a lot of fights involving established fighters facing off against each other, as we seen this past weekend with Jamel Charlo versus Brian Castano, which was undisputed title matchup in the junior middleweight division. So we will see what happens, and we will see what transpires. That's some of the information I'm hearing through the grapevine, through the boxing rumor mill. It's something else I'm trying to remember now that I'm trying to think about it. It's another thing. I've heard some other things going on. I'm trying to remember, man. I've heard I got some other information. Yeah, okay. Teofimo Lopez, aka Mr. Takeover. I'm hearing that they still trying to establish the fight between him and Kambosos, who's the mandatory in the IBF. I'm hearing they're still looking to save that fight, and that fight could be the co-main event for Oscar De La Hoya ring return after an 8-year absence versus that MMA fighter Victor. I can't remember his last name. Not finna even try to say it, man. I know his first name is Victor. He's an MMA fighter. But I'm hearing that Teofimo Lopez versus Kambosos, which would be for Teofimo Lopez's 4 belts, I guess. I guess the franchise belt is on the line. It was on the line with Vasily Lomachenko defended it against Teofimo Lopez, so I guess it'll be on the line against Kambosos. He'll be defending his franchise WBC lightweight title, his WBO lightweight title, and his WBC lightweight title, and his WBA lightweight title will be on the line. I said WBC franchise title. I said that twice, my bad. WBC franchise title, the IBF title will be on the line in the lightweight division. The WBO lightweight title will be on the line, and the WBA lightweight title will be on the line versus Kambosos. I'm hearing that fight is going to take place in Staples Center in Los Angeles, California, as Oscar De La Hoya has locked down a venue and a date for his ring return from an 8-year absence. And that fight will be an official fight. It won't be an expedition. It won't be an exhibition. I say expedition like I'm driving an expedition. I wish I was driving an expedition. No, I wish I wasn't driving driving an expedition. That shit eat your gas up driving them big SUVs right now. It's good to be in these cars like I'm in right now. Good, nice, sporty cars. 6-cylinder cars. But they not going to have you paying a whole lot of gas money. You know what I'm saying? So that's neither here nor there. But that's what I'm hearing, though, through the grapevine, through the boxing rumor mill, that Kambosos versus Teofimo Lopez could be the co-main event for Oscar De La Hoya ring return on September 11th on Triller Night. As Ryan Kavanaugh, new kid on the block, is trying to make noise in the sport of boxing, as he's got a weekly series he just announced. I think Chris Algieri and Michael Hunter are supposed to be on a weekly series that they're going to be putting on Triller app, featuring fighters with good, solid names in the sport of boxing. Fighters like Michael Hunter, who's I say a top 10 heavyweight contender. He'll be fighting some guy named Michael. I don't know his last name. He's going to be fighting on that card. And Chris Algieri, who's had shared the ring with the legendary Filipino, soon-to-be Hall of Famer Manny Pacquiao. He's fought Provokanikov. He's been in there with some top names. He's going to be fighting on that, doing that series too on Triller. So that's a little bit of boxing news that I've been hearing. And I want you guys to let me know about Teofimo Lopez versus George Kambosos. You think he should go ahead with that fight and fight on the basically on the undercard of Oscar De La Hoya? That's a huge step down because that fight was supposed to be a main event on Triller in Miami, Florida, but through slow ticket sales and the fact that Teofimo Lopez got diagnosed with the COVID-19, that fight got pushed back. Now they're looking at not even being a main event fight. It's being a co-main event fight for Oscar De La Hoya. You think he should move on from that situation and drop the IBF belt and pursue a matchup with a rematch with Vasily Lomachenko, a fight that could take place December 11th. That'll be Heisman Trophy night on ESPN. That's a prime time slot, one of the biggest nights for ESPN and top-ranked boxing. You know, they could put that fight there on ESPN Plus, maybe even ESPN pay-per-view. Think he maybe pursue that fight, go down that road? Or you think he should stay true to his word and stay true to what Triller did as far as bidding on that fight and putting a lot of money up for that fight and setting the stage for Teofimo Lopez to get his highest purse and George Kambosos to get his highest purse? You think he should stay true to them and make that fight happen and take care of his IBF mandatory? Or you think he should look to pursue a Vasily Lomachenko rematch? Let me know your thoughts, and let me know your thoughts about Dillian Whyte possibly being on the undercard of Canelo Alvarez versus Caleb Sweet Hand Plants. Let me know your thoughts about Mr. Gary Russell taking care of his WBC mandatory against Ray Vargas, and that fight possibly landing on the undercard of David Benavidez versus Jose Ukatasi as a co-main event. And I'm also hearing that it still could land on the Errol Spence Jr. versus Manny Pacquiao pay-per-view matchup on Fox pay-per-view. It could be on the undercard of that fight if they decide to go in another direction and not do an all welterweight undercard. That's another thing that I was hearing. They was trying to do an all welterweight undercard for Spence Pacquiao with Ugas and Thurman as the co-main event, Sean Porter versus Josecito Lopez on the card, and Jamal James, who has a mandatory for his regular WBC welterweight title as the pay-per-view opener. Let me know your thoughts and hit the like button if you like the content of this video, and subscribe to JB Sports, the man, the myth, the legend. And I holla.